That is Brandon Heath on Rima. No turning back. It is just on 18 minutes to 11 o'clock. And welcoming into the Rima studio, New Zealand author Peter Millett. Peter, kia ora, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
And thanks for having me back.
Now, normally I'm the most overdressed person on the Rima broadcasting floor, but I must say you take the cake today. Seriously, this is... Look, last time you were here...
I was in rugby
shorts. You were in a rugby uniform.
Yeah, I know.
Describe what you're wearing, Peter.
Well, you may have a different angle, but the book is called Power Up.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I have chosen to wear a power suit.
It is a power suit.
But there's a special hidden feature. Now, this is just for you, Andrew. This is a literal power suit.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, engage.
Oh, my goodness.
There you go, you see. That's a Rima special. And I can go multi-options as well. It's a bag of tricks. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So that is your superpower.
Yeah, I wear a literal power suit.
Now, we are filming this so that people can get the full visual display of this, but for people listening at home...
Yeah, that thought had crossed my mind.
Yeah, he's dressed in a very impressive tuxedo with a bow tie which changes colour. Which is... Look, I was expecting, because the latest book, The Invincibles, now I remember there was a movie that was about a team of superheroes also starting with an I, which, of course, you couldn't call it that for copyright reasons.
No.
But I was thinking superheroes. Peter, I was expecting you in the full lycra today.
I know.
I must say I'm not that disappointed.
I think that you were... I think most people were expecting underpants on the outside.
Exactly. Well, no, I'm glad you've gone for the perhaps the more friendly option
version
of that one. But tell us about the book, The Invincibles. Tell us what inspired you to write this one.
Yeah, well, I think like most Kiwi kids, we grew up sort of yearning, listening to American superhero stories, Batman, all this sort of stuff. And I always wanted to have a New Zealand superhero team.
Oh, yeah.
From New Zealand. And it just never happened. But ironically, we probably make more superhero movies than any country in the world now. But we don't have our own born and bred Kiwi jokers and gals, Yeah. So a childhood, when I was a kid, I was drawing little cartoons. I found some the other day at school, New Zealand superheroes. There was Garden Man who was, he crept up in the forest and caught the bad guys unawares. So this is just sort of a bit more sophisticated version of that.
So this is the book that you've probably been working on for the longest, actually, if you started when you were at school.
Yeah, definitely. 40 years in the making,
Gosh, no pressure. I'm sure it's a good one. So, I mean, again, with superhero movies recently, you can't just have one superhero. No. You've got to have a team up, right?
You've got to have a team.
You've got to have a power team, and that's very much what's happening in this book.
Exactly. What also intrigued me was, what if these guys get hit by lightning on a rugby field? So that's very, very Kiwi style.
Oh, it's rugby again?
Yeah. And there is there's a rugby time limit. It's 80 minutes as long as your powers last.
Oh, wow.
So again, I'm trying to do something a little different. It's once a day. You only play one game of rugby a day.
Usually, yeah.
Usually. So you have to use those. With great powers comes great time limits.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what I've done is just try to create a new type of superhero. So when we don't have Captain New Zealand like Captain America.
Yeah.
We have these guys, the Invincibles, and they offer something for New Zealand readers that you can't get anywhere else in the world.
Can we get them to England for the weekend? Because we could sign them up to be Black Caps, because I think that possibly would be what it would take for us to win.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, no pressure on this one. So, I mean, this is the last book that you were talking about. There was rugby theme.
My old man, he played rugby.
Now, this is for slightly older kids, this one, you'd say?
Yeah. If you were at school and you were just starting to take a test drive of your own books for yourself, this would be where you'd head. So it's nice, simple, short storytelling. Lots of illustrations. Miles Lawford is one of the best illustrators in the country. He's brought to life my characters.
Yep.
I'm thrilled. So yes, I would say if you're a very, very advanced 6.5-year-old reader, give it a whirl. If you're in your 7s, that's the sweet spot. When you're hit 7 and you want to start reading your own stuff, then you start on The Invincibles.
And there's pictures in case you get easily distracted.
Yes, there are, and there's collector's cards at the back.
Oh, my goodness!
I'm now hearing from some child readers who are detaching the collector's cards, laying them on the table, and as they read the book, it's helping them identify with the characters.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't plan it that way, but that's a cool
collector's cards.
Yeah, collector's cards. A first. This is surely a first for New Zealand books.
Yeah.
Superhero collector cards in the back.
I think this might be a first, actually. Now, I thought there were 5 superheroes like the Power Rangers, etc., but there's a 6th superhero called Super Sheep.
Yeah, and that was driven by the need to have 6 cards at the back primarily.
Oh, okay.
But he is their mascot. the Tight Five plus sheep. He is their mascot, who also gets a bit of a zap from the lightning as well. And I can't spoil the plot. He, in the end, plays a very pivotal role.
Okay, no spoilers.
In the climactic scene, Super Sheepy plays a very important role.
So he does make the front cover. There's just the Tight Five on the front cover, but he does get his own collector card in the back.
Yeah.
Of the 5 key players. Break it down for us. What sort of superpowers are we talking here?
Okay, so what I've tried to do is keep it New Zealand sports specific. So if you're a fly half, you're very good at flying. Okay. So there's one character there who is genuinely a line breaker. However, his superpower has morphed somewhat. He is windbreaker.
Oh.
Now he has an extra.
I've been known to have that superpower myself.
At the bottom of a mall, Windbreaker can employ a power that can clear the ruck or the mall very quickly. Yes,
exactly.
And Wing is quite a cool name for that. That's a Zinnia Wing. She can run at least 100k at a canter. So, So her power on the wing is just dynamite.
Yeah,
John Olomu on chemical additions.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of how I tried to make everything sports specific, but at the heart of it, fun specific.
Do you have a favourite character from the team? Would you, if you had to pick one?
Well, that would probably upset a whole bunch of readers if I say that. But I do have, I guess, an affinity with Scotty, who is on the front cover. He's wearing a baseball cap backwards.
Yep.
Scotty is an homage to a certain rugby coach who has a penchant for break dancing.
Oh, wow.
And back in the 80s, I was reasonably handy at the old break dancing.
Well, Scotty's also windbreaker. Was that another one of your gifts?
No, that's based on someone I know who I won't identify. But you clearly lay some claim there too.
See, I was tossing out between Windbreaker and Super Sheep, but again, no spoilers. I haven't read the book yet, but very much looking forward to it. Now, you've written over 80 books for children. What is it that you love about it? What brings you back to it?
I got a review recently, and the girl just said, I put the book down, I read the book, and it felt like these are the children that I sit in my class with when I'm reading this story. Possibly Windbreaker as well. But that's why I do it, because when I grew up as a kid, all the stories we read were from overseas, and they were wonderful stories. Yep. Enid Blyton, Winnie the Pooh. But I never read books set in New Zealand, written by New Zealand guys or girls. So that's what drives me, to give those international quality books written locally, set locally.
Now, is this the beginning of a series, do you think? Because you have done other series beforehand. Is this the first superhero outing for the Invincibles? More to come?
Yeah, and this is a spoiler that's okay. Book 2 is finished and on my desk at home.
Oh.
It's called Short Circuit, and it brings in a dilemma. If you have great powers with a great time limit, what happens if you mess with that? Okay, you don't mess with the formula. They mess with the formula in the sequel.
See what happens.
And chaos ensues.
And you'll get more collector cards for the second book?
More collector's cards in the second one, yeah.
Collect the set. Now available in all good bookstores. The Invincibles by Peter Millett. Peter, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.